Dr. Zafara stood in front of the huge metal cage. Her four eyes looked at the strange creature inside. The blue light from the creature made everything look scary. She had been trying to study this thing for months, but nothing worked. The creature was called a void stalker. It was 12 feet tall and made of black crystal that seemed to eat light. When it moved, the crystal parts of its body shifted and changed. It had 6 arms that ended in sharp claws. These claws could cut through the strongest metal. The creature had no eyes that anyone could see, but it always knew where everyone was. Dr. Zafara was famous for working with dangerous animals from across the galaxy. She had made friends with fire creatures from distant planets. She had talked to bug-like aliens that shared one big mind. She had even trained giant worms that could eat whole planets. But this void stalker was different. It would not listen to her at all. Her helper, Dr. Vexty, walked up to her. His skin was changing colors, which meant he was worried. "Professor, we tried everything again today. The smell chemicals did not work, the brainwaves did not work, even the special energy fields did not work." Dr. Zafara looked at the papers on her desk. Each paper showed another failed test. "I know, Vexty. We have been working on this for 6 months. 47 scientists have been hurt trying to study this creature. It has broken out of its cage 17 times. We had to build stronger walls each time." The Void Stalker had been found on a mining planet called New Titan. The miners there had been digging for special crystals when they found it deep underground. At first, they thought it was just a big crystal formation. But then it started moving. It destroyed 3 mining ships and killed 12 people before they could catch it. When the creature first arrived at Dr. Zafara's lab, she was excited. She thought it would be like her other projects. She would study it, find out what it needed, and then train it to be safe around people. She had done this hundreds of times before with other dangerous creatures. But the Void Stalker was not like anything she had ever seen. It did not eat normal food. Instead, it seemed to feed on electricity and energy from machines. When they put it near computers, the screens would flicker and die. When they tried to scan it with their tools, the tools would break. The creature made strange sounds too. It hummed in low tones that made everyone's teeth hurt. Sometimes the humming was soft, like a whisper. Other times it was so loud that it cracked the windows. Dr. Zafara had tried to figure out what the sounds meant, but they did not match any known language. "The council is coming tomorrow," Dr. Vexty said quietly. "If we cannot show them that we are making progress, they will shut down the project." Dr. Zafara's tentacles moved nervously. The Galactic Research Council had given her this project because of her good reputation. They trusted her to find a way to make the Void Stalker safe, but if she failed, they would have to destroy the creature. They would also probably end her career. "Maybe," Dr. Vexty continued, "some creatures are meant to stay wild. Maybe we should not try to change them." Dr. Zafara did not want to give up. She had spent her whole life proving that any creature could be understood and helped. But this Void Stalker seemed to hate everything around it. It had attacked every scientist who came near. It had destroyed every tool they used to study it. It seemed to enjoy causing pain and fear. The creature suddenly stopped moving around its cage. It turned toward them, even though it had no eyes. The humming sound got louder and deeper. Both aliens stepped back from the cage. Even through the thick metal walls, they could feel the creature's anger. "It knows we are talking about it," Dr. Zafara whispered. "It always knows," Dr. Vexty replied. "That is what makes it so dangerous." The Void Stalker moved closer to the wall of its cage. Its claws scraped against the metal, making a horrible screeching sound. Sparks flew where its crystal body touched the electronic locks. The lights in the room flickered on and off. Dr. Zafara watched the creature with mixed feelings. Part of her was afraid of it. Part of her was amazed by it. The Void Stalker was unlike anything in all her years of study. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. "We will try once more tomorrow," she said finally. "Before the council arrives, we will use the new sleep gas that just arrived from the medical station." Dr. Vexty shook his head. "We already tried 5 different sleep gases. They do not work on crystal-based life forms. Then we will try the sonic disruptor." "Professor, we tried that too. The creature seems to like loud sounds. They make it stronger, not weaker." Dr. Zafara felt tired and defeated. For the first time in her career, she was facing a creature that seemed impossible to understand or help. The Void Stalker was scheduled to be destroyed in 24 hours. All her work would be wasted. All her reputation would be ruined. She looked at the creature one more time. It had stopped making noise and was just standing there, watching her with its invisible eyes. For a moment she thought she saw something different in its posture, not anger or hate, but something else, something that looked almost like sadness, but that was impossible. Crystal creatures did not have feelings like sadness. They were just living rocks that happened to move around. At least, that is what all the science books said. Dr. Zephyra turned off the lights and left the lab. Tomorrow would be her last chance to solve the mystery of the Void Stalker. She just hoped she could think of something new to try. The next morning, Dr. Zephyra was drinking her morning tea when someone knocked on her office door. She looked up and saw a young human woman standing there. The human had brown hair and was wearing a leather jacket that looked old and worn. "Dr. Zephyra," the human said with a smile, "my name is Maya Johnson. I am a student from Earth. I heard you are working with a Void Stalker." Dr. Zephyra almost dropped her teacup. "Yes, but why do you want to know about it?" Maya walked into the office without being asked. "I want to help you work with it. I heard that no one has been able to train it yet." "Train it?" Dr. Zephyra's 4 eyes blinked in surprise. "Ms. Johnson, this creature has hurt 47 scientists. It has broken out of its cage 17 times. The council is coming today to shut down the project and destroy the creature." Maya sat down in the chair across from Dr. Zephyra's desk. "That is exactly why I want to try. You see, back on Earth, I work with dangerous animals. I have helped wolves that attacked people. I have worked with bears that everyone said could never be safe around humans. Sometimes the problem is not the animal. Sometimes the problem is how we try to work with the animal." Dr. Vexty came into the office carrying more papers. When he saw Maya, his skin turned bright red, which meant he was very worried. "Dr. Zephyra, you cannot be thinking of letting this human near the Void Stalker. Humans are tough, but they are still made of soft flesh. This creature can cut through metal." Maya looked at Dr. Vexty and then back at Dr. Zephyra. "I read all the reports about your Void Stalker. You have been treating it like a normal animal. You try to give it food, but it does not eat food. You try to make it comfortable, but it breaks everything you give it. You try to talk to it, but it does not understand your languages." "That is correct," Dr. Zephyra said slowly. "We have tried everything that normally works with dangerous creatures." "But what if it is not a normal creature?" Maya asked. "What if it works in a completely different way than anything you have studied before?" Dr. Zephyra was about to explain why this was impossible when an alarm started ringing. The sound meant that important visitors were arriving. Through her office window, she could see 3 large ships landing outside the research station. The Galactic Research Council was here early. "They were not supposed to arrive for 2 hours, Dr. Vexty said nervously. Maya stood up quickly. "Dr. Zephyra, please let me try to work with your Void Stalker. What do you have to lose at this point?" Dr. Zephyra thought about this. The council was going to shut down her project anyway. Her career was probably over. The creature was going to be destroyed. Maybe letting this strange human try something different could not make things any worse. "You have 30 minutes, Dr. Zephyra said finally. "But if the creature tries to hurt you, we will pull you out right away." Maya smiled widely. "Thank you. Can I see all your research files first?" For the next 20 minutes, Maya read through every report, every test result, and every observation about the Void Stalker. She read faster than Dr. Zephyra had ever seen anyone read. Sometimes she would stop and ask questions about specific tests they had tried. "You said it feeds on electrical energy," Maya said, looking at one report. "And it makes humming sounds that hurt your ears. What if those sounds are not just noise? What if they mean something?" "We tested the sounds," Dr. Vexty explained. "They do not match any known language in our databases." "But maybe they match something that is not in your databases," Maya said. "On Earth, we have learned that some animals communicate in ways that humans could not hear for a long time. Elephants talk to each other using sounds too low for human ears. Dolphins use sounds too high for us to hear without special equipment." Dr. Zephyra was starting to understand what Maya was thinking. "You believe the Void Stalker is trying to communicate, but we cannot hear it properly." "Not just communicate," Maya said excitedly. "What if it is lonely? Think about it. This creature was found deep underground, probably by itself. Then it was captured and put in a cage. Everyone who comes near it is afraid and tries to control it. How would you feel? Before Dr. Zephyra could answer, another alarm rang. This one meant that the council members were walking toward the research lab. They would be there in 10 minutes. Maya looked at Dr. Zephyra with determination in her eyes. Please, let me try. Dr. Zephyra made a decision that went against everything she had learned in 40 years of scientific training. Come with me. They walked quickly through the halls of the research station. Dr. Vexty followed behind them, his skin now turning purple with fear. Other scientists stopped their work to watch as the small group headed toward the containment area. When they reached the lab where the Void Stalker was kept, Maya stopped and looked through the thick window. The creature was pacing back and forth in its cage. Its black crystal body reflected the lights in strange patterns. The humming sound was soft but constant. It is beautiful, Maya said quietly. Dr. Zephyra was shocked. In all the months they had been studying the creature, no one had ever called it beautiful. Dangerous, yes. Mysterious, yes. But never beautiful. Maya turned to Dr. Zephyra. I want to go inside the cage. Absolutely not, Dr. Vexty said immediately. The creature will kill you in seconds. Maybe, Maya said, but maybe it will not. You said it feeds on electrical energy. Human bodies make electrical signals in our brains and hearts. What if it can sense that I am alive in a way that your machines cannot? Dr. Zephyra wanted to say no. Every part of her scientific training told her that letting Maya enter the cage was suicide, but she was out of options. The council would be here any minute. Her project was doomed anyway. 5 minutes, she said finally, and we will be ready to get you out the second something goes wrong. Maya nodded and walked toward the cage door. Dr. Zephyra's hands shook as she entered the code to unlock it. The cage door opened with a soft hiss. Maya stepped inside slowly while Dr. Zephyra and Dr. Vexty watched from behind the safety glass. Both aliens had their hands on the emergency buttons that would flood the cage with sleeping gas if anything went wrong. The Void Stalker stopped pacing the moment Maya entered. It turned toward her with its eyeless head tilted to one side. The humming sound that had been constant for months suddenly stopped. The silence felt strange and heavy. Maya did not act like the other scientists who had entered the cage before. She did not carry any tools or weapons. She did not wear the heavy protective suit that everyone else used. She just stood there in her old leather jacket and looked at the creature calmly. Hello there, Maya said in a soft voice. My name is Maya. I know you have been alone for a long time. The Void Stalker took a step toward her. Its crystal claws scraped against the metal floor, making small sparks. Dr. Zephyra felt her heart beating faster. Every other time someone had entered the cage, the creature had attacked within seconds, but Maya did not run or show fear. Instead, she sat down on the floor, making herself smaller and less threatening. I bet you are scared, she continued talking. Being locked up is no fun, is it? I would be angry too if someone put me in a cage. The creature moved closer. Dr. Zephyra could see its massive form towering over the small human. One swipe from those claws would cut Maya in half. Dr. Zephyra's hand hovered over the emergency button. You know what I think? Maya said, still in that calm, gentle voice. I think you are not really trying to hurt anyone. I think you are trying to talk to them, but nobody understands what you are saying. Something impossible happened then. The Void Stalker sat down too, its crystal body folded in a way that made it look less scary and more like it was listening. The aggressive posture that it had held for months disappeared. Maya started to hum quietly. It was not like the complex sounds that the research team had tried to play for the creature. It was just a simple tune, the kind that human mothers sing to their babies. The melody was soft and repetitive. The Void Stalker's crystal body began to glow brighter, but this was not the angry red glow they had seen before when it was upset. This was a gentle blue light that pulsed in rhythm with Maya's humming. Oh my, Dr. Zephyra whispered. It is responding to her. Dr. Vexty checked his instruments frantically. The electromagnetic readings are changing. The creature's energy output is stabilizing for the first time since we captured it. Maya kept humming, and something even more amazing happened. The Void Stalker began to make its own humming sound, but instead of the harsh, painful noise it had made before, this was soft and musical. It matched the tune that Maya was singing. "You can sing," Maya said with wonder in her voice. "You are trying to sing with me, are not you?" The creature's head bobbed up and down in what looked almost like a nod. Its crystal body continued to pulse with gentle light. The sharp claws on its hands retracted, becoming smaller and less dangerous looking. Dr. Zafara watched in amazement as everything she thought she knew about the Void Stalker changed before her eyes. The creature was not a mindless predator. It was not trying to destroy everything around it. It was trying to communicate, and Maya was the first person who had figured out how to communicate back. "The sound frequencies," Dr. Zafara said suddenly. "Maya is not trying to control the creature or study it. She is just talking to it, like she would talk to any lonely animal." The lab door burst open, and 3 council members walked in. They had come to see the dangerous creature that was causing so much trouble. Instead, they found a human woman sitting peacefully next to a gently glowing crystal being, both of them humming together in harmony. Council member Thargon, a tall alien with gray skin, stopped in his tracks. What is happening here?" Dr. Zafara found her voice. "Council member Thargon, I would like you to meet Maya Johnson. She appears to have made first contact with our Void Stalker." Inside the cage, Maya had stopped humming and was now talking quietly to the creature. "I think you have been trying to make friends this whole time," she said. "But everyone was too scared to listen to you properly." The Void Stalker made a series of soft musical sounds. Maya listened carefully, as if she could understand what it was saying. Then she hummed back in a slightly different tune. The creature responded with its own musical phrase. "They are having a conversation," Dr. Vexty said in disbelief. "The human and the Void Stalker are actually talking to each other." Council member Veltara, a smaller alien with purple skin, stepped closer to the observation window. "This is remarkable. In all our records, no one has ever successfully communicated with a Void Stalker." "Because no one tried the right approach," Maya said, her voice carrying through the communication system. "You all tried to treat it like a dangerous animal that needed to be controlled. But it is not just an animal. It is intelligent. It has feelings. It just communicates differently than you do." Maya stood up slowly and reached out her hand toward the creature. Dr. Zafara held her breath. This was the most dangerous moment yet. If the Void Stalker was going to attack, it would be now. Instead, the creature gently touched Maya's hand with one of its crystal claws. The touch was careful and soft, like it was afraid of hurting her. Where their skin met, both Maya and the creature began to glow with the same blue light. "It is sharing its energy with her," Dr. Zafara breathed. "This is unprecedented." The third council member, an insect-like alien called Clickstar, made rapid clicking sounds that meant excitement in his language. "If we can establish real communication with these creatures, it could change everything. The attacks on our mining colonies, the destroyed ships, all of it could have been misunderstandings." Maya looked up at the observation window and smiled. "I do not think these are attacks at all. I think they are attempts at first contact. The Void Stalkers have been trying to talk to us, and when we did not respond properly, they tried harder. Sometimes when you are trying to get someone's attention and they do not listen, you have to make louder noises." Dr. Zafara felt her understanding of xenobiology completely change in that moment. All her years of studying alien creatures, and she had never considered that some of them might be trying to make friends rather than trying to be territorial or aggressive. The Void Stalker made another series of musical sounds, longer and more complex this time. Maya listened intently and then looked up at Dr. Zafara. "I think it wants to meet you," Maya said. "It knows you have been trying to help it, even though you did not understand how to talk to it before." Dr. Zafara felt nervous as she put on the special suit that would let her enter the cage safely. Maya had been working with the Void Stalker for 3 hours now, and the creature had remained calm and friendly the entire time. But Dr. Zafara was still afraid. "Remember," Maya said through the communication system, "do not think of it as a dangerous animal. Think of it as a person who speaks a different language. Its name is Echo, by the way." "It told you its name?" Dr. Vexty asked in amazement. "Not exactly," Maya replied. "But when I hum to it, it always echoes back the same tune, so I started calling it Echo, and it seems to like that name." Dr. Zafara entered the cage slowly. Echo turned toward her and made a soft musical sound. It was not threatening at all. It sounded almost like it was saying hello. "Hello, Echo," Dr. Zafara said nervously. "I am sorry we did not understand you before." Echo tilted its head and made another sound. Maya hummed something back, and Echo responded with a different tune. They seemed to be having a conversation about Dr. Zafara. "Echo says it knows you have been trying to help," Maya translated. "It was frustrated because it could not make you understand what it needed." "What did it need?" Dr. Zafara asked. Maya looked at Echo and hummed a questioning tune. Echo responded with a long, complex series of sounds that was almost like music. "It was lonely," Maya said simply. Echo was alone underground for a very long time. When the miners found it, it was excited because it thought it had finally found other intelligent life. But then everyone was afraid of it and tried to hurt it or lock it up. Dr. Zafara felt terrible. "We thought it was attacking the miners. It was trying to communicate with them," Maya explained. "But when they shot at it, Echo got scared and defended itself. Then it got angry because no one would listen to what it was trying to say." The council members had been watching everything through the observation window. Now they came into the lab to get a closer look at what was happening. "Ms. Johnson," Council Member Thargan said, "can you ask the creature about the attacks on our colonies?" Maya hummed to Echo and listened to its response. The conversation went back and forth several times before Maya turned back to the council. "Echo says there are many of its kind scattered across different planets. They have been trying to contact other species for hundreds of years. Sometimes they find empty planets and try to change them into places where they can communicate better. Sometimes they find planets with people on them and try to make contact." "The electromagnetic disturbances," Dr. Zafara said suddenly. "The power failures and equipment malfunctions. They were trying to send signals." "Exactly," Maya said. "But their signals are too strong for most equipment. They accidentally break things when they try to talk." Council Member Veltara stepped forward. "Can you ask it how we can communicate with others of its kind without causing damage?" Maya and Echo had another musical conversation. This time, Echo's responses were very excited. Its crystal body glowed brighter, and it made rapid, happy sounds. "Echo is very excited about this," Maya said with a big smile. "It says it can teach us how to build communication devices that will not break. It can also help us contact other Echo-like creatures across the galaxy." "This changes everything," Dr. Vexty said. "If we can communicate with them properly, we can prevent future misunderstandings." Over the next several hours, Maya worked with Echo to demonstrate how the communication process worked. Echo could control electromagnetic fields in very precise ways. It could make lights flash in patterns, create sounds at specific frequencies, and even project simple images in the air using energy fields. "It is like a living computer," Dr. Zafara observed. "But instead of processing data, it processes emotions and thoughts and turns them into energy patterns." So, Maya had Echo demonstrate by thinking about being happy. Immediately, the creature's body glowed with warm, golden light. When Maya asked it to think about being sad, the light became dim and blue. When it thought about being excited, the light flashed rapidly in bright colors. "So the electromagnetic feeding is not really feeding," Dr. Zafara said. "It is communication." "Right," Maya confirmed. "Echo absorbs energy from electrical devices, but not to eat it. It uses that energy to power its communication abilities. The more energy it has, the better it can talk." The council members were taking notes frantically. This discovery would revolutionize how they dealt with unknown alien species. Instead of assuming that strange behavior meant hostility, they would first try to determine if the aliens were attempting to communicate. "There is more," Maya said. "Echo tells me that its kind are not the only species that have been misunderstood. There are many other aliens out there who have been trying to contact us, but we keep treating them as threats because we do not understand their communication methods." Council member Clickstar clicked excitedly. We could establish a new department for xenocommunication. Instead of military responses to unknown contacts, we could send teams trained in alternative communication methods. Dr. Zafara felt proud and humble at the same time. Her failed project had turned into the most important scientific discovery in decades. But it had taken a human student to show her what she had been missing. "Maya," she said, "how did you know to try this approach?" Maya shrugged. "On Earth, I worked with a lot of animals that people said were impossible to train. Bears that had attacked humans, wolves that would not trust anyone, horses that had been abused and were afraid of people. I learned that usually, when an animal is being aggressive or destructive, it is because it is scared or frustrated, not because it is evil." "But Echo is not an animal," Dr. Vexty pointed out. "No," Maya agreed. "But the principle is the same. When someone or something is acting out, there is usually a reason. Instead of trying to control the behavior, you try to understand what is causing it." Echo made a series of sounds that almost sounded like laughter. Maya grinned and hummed back. "What did it say?" Dr. Zafara asked. "Echo says it is happy that someone finally understands its jokes," Maya replied. "Apparently, it has been trying to be funny this whole time, but nobody got the humor." Dr. Zafara looked at the creature that had terrorized 3 star systems and realized that they had completely misunderstood its intentions from the beginning. Echo was not a monster. It was just a very lonely being who wanted to make friends and had a sense of humor that nobody had bothered to appreciate. The future suddenly looked very different. Instead of preparing for war with hostile aliens, they could prepare for conversation with new friends. 6 months later, the research station looked completely different. The old cage had been replaced with a large, comfortable room filled with special equipment that Echo had helped them design. The walls could display light patterns, and the floor could vibrate at different frequencies to help with communication. Maya was now the official director of interspecies communication. She wore a special device that could translate Echo's musical language into words that other species could understand. Echo wore a similar device that helped it understand when others were talking to it. Dr. Zafara entered the communication room and found Maya working with Echo and 2 other Void Stalkers who had arrived the week before. The 3 crystal beings were creating a beautiful light show while making harmonious music together. Maya was conducting them like a music director. "Good morning, Dr. Zafara," Maya said cheerfully. "Echo and its friends are working on a welcome song for the new species we are going to meet next week." "New species?" Dr. Zafara asked. Echo turned toward her and made a series of sounds that the translation device converted to words. "Hello, Dr. Zafara. Yes, we have contacted the singing stones of the Andromeda sector. They have been trying to reach other intelligent life for 2,000 years. Dr. Zafara was still getting used to having conversations with Echo. Even after all these months, it amazed her that the creature she had once considered impossible to tame was now one of her closest colleagues. "The singing stones are rock-based life forms like us," explained another Void Stalker named Harmony, "but they communicate through vibrations in the ground instead of electromagnetic fields. They thought all other life forms were deaf because nobody ever answered their signals." "How many species have we contacted now?" Dr. Zafara asked. Maya checked her notes. 17 so far, and Echo tells me there are probably hundreds more out there who have been trying to communicate with us for years. The communication room had become the center of a galaxy-wide revolution in how different species interacted with each other. The old method of sending military ships to investigate unknown signals had been replaced with communication teams trained in Maya's techniques. Dr. Vexty came into the room carrying a report. "The latest news from the outer colonies," he announced. "The crystal singers from the Vega system have agreed to help us establish communication with the metal shapers. Apparently, they have been having a misunderstanding for 300 years. "What kind of misunderstanding?" Maya asked. "The metal shapers were trying to give the crystal singers gifts by reshaping their cities into more beautiful forms. But the crystal singers thought their homes were being attacked and kept fighting back." Echo made a sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. Species often have such silly misunderstandings. We are glad that humans like Maya are helping everyone learn to talk to each other properly. Maya smiled at the compliment. It still surprised her how much her life had changed. 6 months ago, she had been just a student studying animal behavior. Now she was helping to prevent wars and establish friendships between species that had been enemies for centuries. Maya, Dr. Zafara said, the Council wants to expand the communication program. They want to train teams of humans to work with other difficult species. That is a great idea, Maya replied. Humans seem to be good at this kind of work. We are used to dealing with different types of communication. On Earth, we have to talk to thousands of different animal species, plus all the different human cultures. A soft alarm chimed, which meant that visitors were arriving. Through the window, Dr. Zafara could see a ship landing that she did not recognize. It was long and silver and seemed to be made of some kind of living metal. Ah, Echo said excitedly. The metal shapers have arrived early. They are very eager to meet you, Maya. Maya checked her equipment and made sure the new translation programs were working. Over the past months, she and Echo had developed ways to communicate with species that used light, sound, electromagnetic fields, chemical signals, and even gravity waves to talk. The metal shapers entered the room a few minutes later. They looked like tall, silver sculptures that moved with fluid grace. Their leader approached Maya and began to change shape rapidly, creating complex patterns with its metal body. It is saying hello, Maya said, watching the patterns. And it is asking if we can help it apologize to the Crystal Singers for the misunderstanding about the city renovations. Echo and its friends began to glow and hum in response. The metal shapers' bodies shimmered and changed shape in return. Maya coordinated the conversation, helping each species understand what the others were trying to say. This is what I love about this work, Maya told Dr. Zafara quietly. Everyone wants the same things: friendship, understanding, and someone to talk to. They just have different ways of expressing it. Dr. Zafara watched as the room filled with light, music, and shifting metal patterns. 6 months ago, she would have seen this as chaos. Now she recognized it as a symphony of different voices all trying to harmonize together. Maya, she said, I have been thinking about what you said when we first met, about how sometimes the problem is not the animal, but the approach we use. Yes? I realize now that I spent 40 years studying alien life forms, but I never really tried to understand them as individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. I was treating them like puzzles to be solved instead of people to be befriended. Maya nodded. That is the difference between training an animal and making friends with it. When you train something, you are trying to control it. When you make friends with it, you are trying to understand it. Echo's translation device activated. Dr. Zafara, you were not wrong to study us scientifically. We learned much from your research, but Maya taught us that science works best when it is combined with kindness and respect. The metal shaper leader created a new pattern with its body. Maya watched carefully and then smiled. It says that its people have a saying: the strongest metal is forged through patient heating, not violent hammering. I think that applies to making friends too. As the day continued, more species arrived for the weekly communication gathering that had become a regular event. Dr. Zafara watched Maya move easily between different groups, helping them understand each other and solve problems that had seemed impossible just months before. You know, Dr. Vexty said, before Maya arrived, we thought the biggest challenge in the galaxy was defending ourselves from hostile aliens. Now we realize the biggest challenge was learning how to make friends with them. Dr. Zafara agreed. The galaxy had become a much more interesting and friendly place since they had learned to listen instead of just trying to control, and it had all started with one human who was willing to sit down with a lonely creature and try to understand what it was really trying to say. Echo approached Dr. Zafara and made a gentle humming sound. Dr. Zafara, we want to thank you for bringing Maya to us. Without your research, we never would have met her. Thank you, Echo, Dr. Zafara replied. But I think Maya would have found a way to meet you eventually. Humans seem to be very good at making friends with anyone, no matter how different they might seem. Maya overheard them talking and grinned. That is because the universe is full of people waiting to be friends. You just have to know how to say hello.